G'day ladies and gents, and welcome back to Star Citizen with Mags, and welcome back to Port Olisar, now in patch 2.5. Sorry, I was hoping to have some videos on 2.5 out a lot sooner than this, but bad Australian internet, it took 3 days to download the patch. So today, as the thumbnail gave away and the title of the video gave away, we are going to go and find ourselves GRIM Hex. Now, for those who are unfamiliar, GRIM Hex is the new pirate base that's been added into the Persistent universe, or the mini Persistent universe, for Star Citizen in 2.5. And we're going to be taking the Reliant Kore. The Reliant Kore is a new ship that was also added in 2.5. It's what really almost classifies as a starter ship, but it's sort of a slight step above. It's a personal hauler that has a rather unique flight characteristic. I'm not going to talk too much about this particular ship as we fly it out. I will be doing a mini review on it very shortly, and comparing it against another ship, the Avenger Stalker, which has some very similar characteristics and is also a fairly popular ship. Now, having a quick look around the cockpit, however, though, you'll see that this is a really good ship for flying out to those new areas and having a look around. It has some great forward visibility. Nothing gets in your way when you're flying this thing. I also had to laugh the first time I jumped in. Patch 2.5, I'm going to be spending my time learning how to fly twin stick. Approved. And so the first ship I jump into the cockpit of in patch 2.5 is the Reliant, and of course its controls are actually twin stick. I thought that was kind of brilliant. So we've now just transitioned into flight mode, and as you can see, the spacecraft has slightly reconfigured itself, putting the wings now into a vertical position. The cockpit itself has actually rotated around the pilots, with the co-pilot slotting into a position underneath the pilot of the ship as well. Transitioning back and forth between flight mode and landing modes is what actually causes the rotation of the ship. And it's a really cool little animation. It makes I'm looking forward to seeing more ships with this kind of a thing. It's very nice. Anyways, we need to depart and go and find ourselves GRIM Hex. Now, the GRIM Hex pirate base is actually located in the asteroids that make up the planetary ring around the moon Yala, in orbit of Crusader. This is the same place I was doing my salvaging in the last video. Now, finding it, well, there's a couple of ways you can actually do it. If you want the really easy way, what you need to do is kill someone. Killing somebody will get you flagged as a criminal, and when you die, you will automatically respawn at GRIM Hex, as GRIM Hex is the base for the criminals now in the mini PU. Once you're flagged as a criminal, you will also get a waypoint to actually be able to find the base a lot easier, but that's not particularly useful if you're trying to learn how to find the base. There are other ways as well. There are various suggestions on going to either particular satellites or to the ICC probe and using that as a warp-in point for Yala, which will put you in a better position to easily find GRIM Hex. Today I'm just going to show you the most common way to actually locate it, the way that almost everybody is going to go looking for it in the first place when they first log on, going straight from Port Olisar into the Yala asteroid field. Now, the first thing you want to do is go to the right-hand side around the moon. Now, GRIM Hex is nowhere near the warp-in point for Port Olisar. It is nearly on the other side of the moon. However, the flight time is slightly shorter if you go around the right-hand side rather than the left. Either way will work. You can fly this asteroid belt the entire way, or this planetary ring, the entire way around the moon of Yala and come back to the place you started at. In fact, I've done that several times in the past. There's a lot of interesting stuff you can find floating around out here. Now, the second thing you need to know about the GRIM Hex facility is it's not where you would think it would be. As you fly around the rings in Yala, you notice these large clumps of asteroids. You see them on the right-hand side. As you get further around the planet, there is a number of extremely large ones, and your first thought will be that GRIM Hex is on one of these massive asteroid assemblies. It's not. It's actually between two of the large ones. So I'm just going to fast forward time here a little bit, because it is going to take us a while to get. Depending on the speed of your ship, the flight to GRIM Hex from the jump point in from Warp Olisar can take anywhere between 10 minutes outwards to almost half an hour. And this is assuming you know where you're going and what you're looking for in the first place. Now, as we come around the planet in fast forward mode, keep an eye out for the large asteroids. After a few runs in, you'll learn which asteroid clusters GRIM Hex is in between, and you'll use these for markers for easy navigation. Assuming, of course, that you're not a criminal and don't just have a waypoint directly to the facility. So after a good 25-minute flight, although we did take the scenic route just slightly, we have now arrived at the GRIM Hex facility. There's not much to see here at the moment, is there? The large cluster of rocks to the right-hand side, that is the station that you're looking for. This is why it's so hard to actually find GRIM Hex unless you sort of already know where it is. GRIM Hex consists of a central habitation module that is mounted and built inside of a large central asteroid, with a number of asteroids around the outside that have actually been anchored to it via a large cable. The cables are actually the giveaway to spotting GRIM Hex in amongst all of the other asteroids, because it could just be any other asteroid cluster. In fact, if I didn't tell you you were looking directly at GRIM Hex right now, you probably wouldn't realise unless you had already been here. But if you look closely, you'll see small straight lines that are reflecting between some of the asteroids. This is what you're looking for. These are the anchor cables that are mounting the asteroids that were intended for mining to the central facility of GRIM Hex. Now I'm just going to bring it in nice and slow here. It doesn't look like we've got anything on sensors at the moment, so nobody else is here, but it is worth being cautious when approaching the GRIM Hex facility. So just jumping over to a quick external view so you get a better look at these cables and what you're looking for with the facility. These cables are the easiest thing to spot, allowing you to locate GRIM Hex. There is no other cluster of asteroids in this entire belt that is cabled together like this, that has these large cables and lines. If you see straight lines, you're looking at GRIM Hex. So moving in a bit closer, we can begin to see the anchor points for the cables. This is the easiest way to work out amongst all the asteroids, if you get turned around, which one is the right one. All of the outer asteroids are the mining asteroids. They are all anchored to the central core. So you just need to look around and find a spot where there are two cables going into one asteroid, and that is always the central one. The GRIM Hex facility itself is not as big as you may think. Actually, in comparison to Port Olisar, the landing pad area is slightly smaller than a single one of the struts landing areas. The internals of the station are probably equivalent sized, but none of the rest of the station is there. So think of one strut and what's inside of one strut. That's basically the entirety of this base. Now, a hostile ship has just spawned in and we can see the landing pads just ahead, so we'll zip up past the cables. And we have two now. Just sitting down there landed. Now, I'm not going to be a real bastard and shoot them. I'm here to actually have a look at the station. But as I said before, it is worth keeping in mind there is no armistice zone here. The only place you're safe in the GRIM Hex facility is once you are inside. You're not allowed to pull your weapons inside the base itself. However, around this landing pad, I could be shot right here. If somebody wanted to start engaging me, I could get blown up right at this point, and no security or anything will show up to defend you. I could land my ship, and I'm going to land on pad 1 here, open up the back doors and have somebody standing at the back door who shoots me in the head with a rifle. That is something that can happen, so it's always worth taking a look around the pads. Is anybody there? Is there anybody who's looking like they want to try and steal stuff, hijack a ship, or just kill you because it's fun? Remembering the players that auto-spawn here are players that have already killed people in PvP before. They're probably not going to care too much about doing it twice. Another thing to remember is if you fly into the GRIM Hex facility and you land, just understand that somebody is likely going to take your ship for a ride. Right now, right in front of me, you can see that double door. That door, or that airlock door, is the main entrance into GRIM Hex, and I'm landing on the pad directly in front of it with a ship that was only just introduced this patch. There is absolutely no way I'm leaving this facility with this ship, unless I respawn it from the inside. So, just quickly going to use the external camera here. I'm doing this not to showcase the ship, although it is a really nice looking ship when it's on the ground. I'm actually having a look around to see whether or not anybody's hiding over those pipes around those barrels or any of the shipping containers in the area that could potentially shoot me in the face. And at this point we're looking pretty good. It doesn't look like we're going to have too much in the way of problems. So, time to jump out of the ship and make our exit. And of course say goodbye to the Reliant, because I can pretty much guarantee it's not going to be here by the time I get back. Anyways, ladies and gents, this is where GRIM Hex is. You have to fly about 2/3 of the way around the planet. It is below the plane or the level field of the asteroid belt. It is between two of the larger asteroid blocks on the far side of the planet, or the far side of the moon, from the Port Olisar warp-in point, And the giveaway point to actually trying to spot the facility is you're looking for straight lines between the asteroids that are reflecting sunlight. Always try and approach that area from the sun side so you get those reflections. I could hear the alarm going off here. I thought the airlock was about to cycle, so I was making sure that nobody was going to come out to shoot me, but it looks like the sound was from something else. Anyways, ladies and gents, tune back in for another episode in the future. We'll be taking a look over GRIM Hex, and of course I'll be taking a closer look at the Reliant. Until next time, click like if you do, subscribe if you want to see more, fly smart, fly safe, and I'll catch you in the verse.